All right, let's dive in. AI coding assistants, right? They're everywhere, and they promise to build software faster than we can even think. But what happens when all that speed just ends up creating a bigger, faster mess? Today, we're going to talk about how you become the architect in this new world, not just the person telling the robot what to do. And this analogy just hits the nail on the head. Imagine you're at the beach, right? You've got this incredible robot that can scoop sand like crazy. But if you don't actually know how to build a sandcastle, all you're going to get is a giant, chaotic pile of sand. Speed without a plan? Well, that's just chaos. And that's exactly the problem we're seeing with a lot of AI-generated code. Which, brings us to the real million-dollar question here. AI can turn out code at a mind-blowing pace. But is any of it actually good? Is it code you can rely on? Is it code you can change later without everything falling apart? This is the battle every single developer is fighting right now. So how do we get all that amazing speed without giving up on quality? Well, you might think the solution is some brand new, super complex technique, but it's actually the complete opposite. The answer lies in the fundamental skills, the time-tested principles that have defined great software for decades. These are your secret weapon for taming that sand-scooping robot. I mean, think about it for a second. Before we had AI copilots, coding was like taking a road trip with only a paper map. There was no GPS telling you where to turn next. This meant you had to really deeply understand the code. You had to hunt down every bug by hand and think through every design choice. That whole process, it built a kind of mental muscle that, it turns out, is more critical today than it has ever been. And you can see this progression over time, right? We went from manually hunting for bugs with print statements to Agile and collaborating with tools like Git, and now, boom, we're in the middle of the AI revolution. But here's the kicker. While the tools have changed, really changed, the core principles of what makes good software, they haven't budged an inch. In fact, they matter more now than ever. Okay, so how do we actually put that timeless wisdom into practice? Well, it all boils down to 3 simple foundational rules. Seriously, think of these as your personal toolkit, a set of guidelines you can use to direct any AI, making sure it builds something solid, not just something fast. Rule number 1, the sock drawer rule. It's super simple. Make your code understandable. Every piece of your code should do just one thing and one thing only. It's like you keep your socks in the sock drawer and your shirts in the closet, right? You do the same with code. Keep your database logic separate from your user interface. That way, when something breaks, you know exactly where to look. All right, rule number 2, make your code changeable. This is the classic don't repeat yourself rule. Let's say you're building a game, and you have a little piece of code that calculates how many stars a player gets. Well, don't copy and paste that logic into 20 different files. Put it in one central, shared spot, because later, when you want to change how the stars are calculated, you only have to change it in one place. It saves so much headache. And finally, rule number 3, make your code testable. I call this one the testing shoe trick. Look, you wouldn't run an entire marathon just to see if a new pair of shoes fits, would you? Of course not. You'd walk around the store. Your code needs to be the same. You should be able to test little pieces by themselves in isolation without needing a live database or an internet connection. It makes your tests fast, reliable, and honestly, a joy to write. Okay, so we've got our 3 rules. Make it understandable, make it changeable, and make it testable. Now for the fun part. How do we actually use these to steer our AI assistant? This is where the magic happens. This is how you transform that potential mess of code into something clean, robust, and professional. Just look at the difference here. A basic prompt. Write a to-do list app. That's an open invitation for that big, sandy mess we talked about. But a great prompt? It bakes our rules right in. You're telling it, hey, build this app, but make sure the database code is separate from the GUI, and make sure I can test it without an internet connection. You're not just saying what to build, you're defining how to build it. You're giving the AI a blueprint. And the results, they're just night and day. The basic prompt gives you this tangled mess, like a toy box that's been dumped on the floor. Everything's connected to everything else. It's fragile.
But the great prompt, it gives you clean, solid code. Organized. You can go in and add a feature with confidence because everything is in its proper place. It's the difference between that messy floor and a perfectly organized sock drawer. And what all this really leads to is a pretty empowering idea. You are not just a coder anymore. You're the architect. The AI isn't your boss, it's your assistant. Yeah, it's an incredibly powerful assistant for sure, but it needs your vision and your principles to build something that's actually gonna last.
This quote just sums it all up perfectly. The AI, it can do the heavy lifting. It can scoop all the sand you want. But you're the one with the knowledge of these foundational rules. You're the one who knows how to shape that sand into a magnificent castle. You provide the blueprint. The AI just helps you build it faster.
So here's my challenge to you. Don't just listen to this. Go and do it. Pick a small project, something simple. And as you use your AI assistant, consciously think about these 3 rules. Actively guide it. Tell it how to build the code, not just what to build. I promise you are going to see a massive difference in the quality of what you create. So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. These tools, they're evolving at a dizzying speed. AI is only going to get smarter and more capable from here on out. The real question is, are you? Mastering these fundamental principles is how you stay ahead of the curve. It's how you make sure you are always the architect and not just another person operating the machine. Thanks for joining us.